Hello, this is Mrs. Schuver, and today we're going to work with writing expressions and number sentences, which we'll get to on the back of this paper. But first, we're going to explore translating words to math. So we're going to use word phrases to make a mathematical statement, or in this case, an expression or a sentence. So we're going to look at the list below. And it says talk to your partner. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do this part at this moment, but we're going to, on our own, decide which words and phrases imply positive integers or expressions, and which words or ones imply negative integers or subtraction. So here's a list of clue words, and I'm going to do a few with you, and I'm going to ask you to stop the video and write these on your own. So I'm going to do a few that you might not be familiar with. The word deposit. If I deposited $25 in my account, that means I'm adding it to the account. So you can either write the word positive, and we can abbreviate if you want to do that, or you can show me a plus sign. So it's going to imply. Imply means lead us to believe that when we say deposit, it means that we're adding or we're using a positive number. And then another word you might not be familiar with is withdrew. So if I went to my bank account and I withdrew $8, it means I took $8 out. So that's going to imply a negative number or subtraction. And we can abbreviate for this part. If you want to go ahead and finish up the rest of them and then come back and check this video and make any corrections that you might need to make. So take a moment and look over these words and see if you agree. And by the way, since they actually gave us a number, I should have put plus 25 and withdrew 8 would be minus 8. So once you have this list, now let's go to the chart below. We've discussed the fact that we have additive inverses, which are opposites of each other. So we can also look at addition and subtraction as opposites of each other. And you're going to notice here that it says, or adding negatives, and this one, addition, we could be adding positives. So we'll write that. So you're going to be asked today to fill in the chart with clue words that mean the opposite of a word that's given. And there are a few blank rows. So I'd like you to think of words that we haven't used to fill in the blanks. So this would look like this. If I said gain, well, maybe I lost. I can even put lost, or it was a loss. If it's a gain of yards, a loss of yards, or I gained some pounds, I lost some pounds. The next word is decrease, which we can see is negative or subtraction. So the opposite of that would be the word increase. The word deposit means that we're adding to an account, and withdraw would be taking out of the account. Now this word might not be familiar to everyone. Ascend. If I'm going up a mountain, sometimes that's up in a mountain rather, that's called ascend, and the opposite of that would be descend, which means go down. So if you can start filling in a couple of these blanks, I'd love to see your list of words that you've created. If you can think of two opposite words that might mean addition and subtraction, or adding positives and adding negatives. Please stop the video, and you may continue when you have this finished. So now on the back side of this paper, we're going to try to take those words given to us in the form of a paragraph and see if we can write an expression or a number sentence. So let's look at this. An expression does blank have an equal sign. And that word we're going to fill in is does not have an equal sign. And we've been working with expressions lately, so they hopefully will look familiar. This says Bill started at the 15-yard line and lost 8 yards. After we get done reading that and figuring out what it means, they want us to show a model using vectors on the number line, and then we're to write an addition expression, meaning that I have to use addition, and a subtraction expression, meaning that I have to use subtraction. Finally, they want me to evaluate the expression, which means I need to find the value of that expression. So let's start first of all by looking for clue words. As I read through Bill started at the 15-yard line, they're not mentioning anything about a negative number, so we're going to assume that this is a positive 15. And then it said that he lost 8 yards. So that is implying the word lost, that it's either a negative 8 or that we're subtracting 8. So to model with vectors, let's recall how we did that. We started at 0, and then since it's positive 15, I'm going to move up 15. And if you look at this number line, it's kind of hard to see, it's a little bit blurry, but we start here at 0, and we're going to start by counting up to 15. So the first number is always the easiest because we go to that spot. Now it did ask us to model with a vector, so that means I need a line with an arrow. That's what a vector is. And it's moving to the right because the number is positive. So I'm going to write, this is a model of positive 15. The next number said he lost 8 yards. Now I don't want to go to 8 or negative 8. I want to move in a negative direction to the left 8 counts. So we're going to start then at 15 and move back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we ended up at 7. So to model that with a vector, I need to start where I left off the last number and then stop when I get to the number I'm heading to. But this vector is a model of negative 8 yards because we went to the left. Because they've asked us to write an addition expression, I'm going to start with 15, and I must have a plus sign. But since I'm trying to model lost 8 yards, I'm going to have to use that as a negative 8. So that is my addition expression. It does not have an equal sign. So my subtraction expression, I would start the same using 15, but this time I have to use subtraction. So instead of writing negative 8, I'm just going to write that as minus 8. And a few days ago, we learned that adding negative 8 is the same thing, or adding a negative is the same thing as subtracting its opposite, positive. So these mean the same thing in math. And finally on this problem, they've asked us to evaluate it, which means find the value of each expression. So 15 plus negative 8, when they're different signs, we subtract, and we're going to get 7. And the number line already helped us with that. And if I hit my subtraction expression, would also give us 7. So it makes sense if both of these expressions are equivalent, meaning they mean the same thing, just written differently, we would get the same answer. So now let's move on to the number sentence or equation, the bottom half of this. A number sentence or an equation does have an equal sign. So when we hear the word equation, it almost looks like we're writing the word equal. And a number sentence means that there's kind of an end, just like you would in a sentence. You'd have a period, so that instead of having a period, we have an equal sign. We need that equal sign. On a cold February morning, the temperature at 5 o'clock was negative 4 degrees. By 9 o'clock, the temperature rose 9 degrees. Show a model using vectors on the number line, then write an addition number sentence. So we're going to start with circling our clue words. It looks like it mentions time, but I believe they're asking about the temperature. It didn't clarify, but we're looking at the temperature. So we're going to look at -4. They told us it was -4, but the 9, they mentioned that it rose. So we're either adding, or we can look at this like it's a positive 9. They did ask us to write an addition expression, so let's see what this model looks like. We're going to start at 0 in the number line, and the first number I see is -4. So I'm going to go to the left 4 for -4. My vector would look like this. That's a model of -4. Now when I write my next vector, I have to start where I left off. The temperature from -4 rose, which means went up 9 degrees. So now I'm going to start at -4, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to the right because it's a positive 9. I'm going to draw my vector, and this is a model of positive 9. So we can see where we stopped. So I believe that this problem, even though it didn't clarify that, we want to know what happens after we started at -4 and we rose 9 degrees. So we're going to start writing this problem with the first number they gave us, which is -4. They ask for an addition problem. So in fact, we're going to write addition, and that is a positive 9, so I'm going to write positive 9. But what they want is a number sentence. So I need to know what it equals. So I'm going to put that equal sign, and since we modeled with the line, we can tell that this is 5. Also, if you used your rules, a negative plus a positive, we have to subtract and then keep the sign of the number with the highest absolute value. So here's a question. Could we write this as a subtraction number sentence? I would love to see if you can figure out a way to do that, and then we'll discuss it in class. So please now go to the next sheet, and I'd like you to try the matching sheet to this. I'd like you to try 3 practice problems of your choice. Thank you.